see here. Yep, Instagram is working. And let me check the other ones. Facebook and YouTube. Hey, Pamela, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Sweet, sweet. I'm waiting just a couple minutes, but before I get started, maybe 30 seconds, just in case if anyone else wants to pop in. But today last week we talked about on this episode, cool. We talked about like empath stories. I shared a story about going into a store and having a really powerful, energetic imprint hit me, and I shared that may not happen exactly like that for other empaths and sensitives, but if you're one that takes on things or can very easily in different ways, situations, relationships, I highly recommend you go and listen to episode 8, last week's. It could really be a good one. But today we're going to kind of jump in on that, kind of take some of that and move into discussing the mind a little bit. The week before that, we kind of focused in on the body. After a lot of years of practicing yoga, and particularly Kundalini yoga has been one of those long time practices for me, and I've really, really focused on it the last maybe 5 years or so, really dove in deep. And Kundalini yoga is a Raja yoga, which is really about working with the mind on a big way. So it's taught me so much about the mind. So today's episode, if you're one of those people that has a really active mind like me, I've always had a very active mind. One of the main reasons is because I wasn't comfortable being in my body and I wasn't comfortable with myself. There was a lot of trauma and just discomfort with my essence, and the world outside kind of it's kind of what was going on as a gay man, and a lot of other things, being just a sensitive and an empath person coming in. So these talks are really to help all of you all that are feeling this, your empathic heart, your empathic mind, your whole system is getting more and more sensitive as we go along. And that's such a great thing. It really is. Even though it's challenging, there's so many gifts in this, but we've got to learn some new tools and create new rhythms in our life to be able to work with this. This is the new. It's not going away. It's just that we're going to learn as a community and as a collective, how to support one another better, and most importantly, have compassion and learn to really honor ourselves in a way. This is not the old thing that the generations before us. You don't love yourself. Self-love is vanity and all that. We're kind of way past that now, I think, in a lot of ways. This is about, yes, loving yourself, but I prefer to use the word compassion so that we stay out of that old vibration. It's way old. We need just compassion for ourselves, and when we can have compassion for ourselves, we can have compassion for everyone else to follow. So we're going to do a little talk, and towards the end, I'm going to share just a very simple breathwork meditation that can help you. There's so many techniques and tools, but this one I've been using a bit lately, and I thought it would be powerful to share. Helps kind of clear thoughts and emotions of the past, this brain mind balancing, and it helps become a little bit more aware. So we'll get into that. So I just want to ask you all, whether you're listening now or later or whatever, what kind of thoughts, just really being honest with yourself, what kind of repetitive thoughts do you notice, or do you not notice, but they're there? could you put a finger on some of those thoughts? And are they stressful? Are they about one person? What are they? Because that's really the first step in understanding our minds a little bit better, um, is greeting what keeps coming up. Because if it does, there's some kind of attachment to those thoughts, a stickiness. So I like to use that word sticky with empaths and sensitives because there's a feeling as well. But we're focusing in that mental energy. So the mental frequency is that of our thoughts. You know, a lot of times we relate our brain functioning and all of that to this. But I wanted to share some context with this because in the yoga world, and you know, don't just listen to me, have your own experience with this. But after having my own experience with this, I really had a different perspective. You know, our mind is actually this material thing, but it's way subtler than our body. So it's material like our body, but it's subtle. And the more you develop this relationship with it, you may actually begin to feel and connect with the waves, because the mind kind of works in waves. You may see. So yeah, our mind, it's this amazing, amazing tool. And I want to give a little more context because some of you all know me from the past where I spent about 10 years doing a lot of intuitive work, angel work, using that intuition, third eye intuition, to do readings and connect with energies around other people and share that information. So this was such a beautiful experience. I've put that on pause. I do it kind of in another way in my coaching. I don't do the readings per se the same as I did for a long time. Who knows, that could change. But I wanted to share because some of you may have wondered, why did Michael, stop doing those readings all of a sudden? Well, here's why, and it was my mind. So if you are one of those that does intuitive work, this may interest you as well. So I started noticing that when I would have sessions with people or do readings, that my mind would have these like I'm going to use the word intrigue, or it would get intrigued or focused in on things really strongly, and they were over and over again. So again, our mind works in patterns and waves, and so, but they weren't true for my clients, and these things kept happening in so many different ways that it really made me see that I had a lot of work to do to really understand my mind a little bit better, because it was showing me things about myself instead of the people that I was reading. And those things began to interfere. So I was like, okay, I'm stopping so that I can really, because I feel, when I do work, I want to have a strong integrity with myself and that I'm doing the right thing. So I stepped out and started focusing on self-care and getting on Kundalini Yoga, met lots of meditations and working with folks and mentors that could help me understand my mind and understand why those waves and those thoughts. And boy, did that send me on a deep dive. We're not going to even touch on those kind of deep dives today, but what it did do was help me really see the importance of slowing down, just meditating. You don't have to do all of these crazy meditations that I've been doing for some years to really understand it, but the slowing down, especially when you have a racing mind. I bet almost every episode that I've done so far, I mentioned the word slowing down. Um, Slowing down so that we can get our body and minds and soul to kind of work together a little bit better. And that's so huge because our mind is a lot of times is over here somewhere, and our body is over here, and then our soul is somewhere over there, and our mind is the piece that really it's such a powerful tool. It really allows us. Oop, we just had Gary. Welcome, Gary. Our mind is so powerful. As I was referring to doing the intuitive readings, it is the piece. So we have to train it to do what we need it to do. Because if we don't learn how to train it, it will take us over and it will run our life based on our patterns, which is why I didn't, when I was doing readings and intuitive work for other people, I was like, this is not going to work. I've got to figure out why it's coming in and starting to run me in these things instead of my spirit and the bigger picture of what I was doing at that time. So yeah, when our mind is clear and we don't have patterns and it's guided by the soul, that's when it works amazing, and it can do anything. It can go and retrieve information or set up connections in the forests or things to happen or manifest, so it could just be like a magnet for drawing stuff in. But when our unconscious or subconscious mind has these programs running in the background, which oftentimes our thoughts that are happening are a reflection of what's going on underneath in the subconscious mind. And I'm not going to talk about all that today, subconscious and conscious and right brain and left brain, because most people have heard a lot of that stuff. What I wanted to talk about is that, those repetitive thoughts that we have, first and foremost, it's so important, no matter what's going on, to learn that self-compassion, right? Because if we beat ourselves up for having a racy mind, it just is going to make it worse. And some of us, if you're like me, I definitely have done that plenty of times in my experience. But slowing down and just taking a breath with your mind and beginning to create this space of an observer consciousness where we can detach from being run by our mind, which is all about learning to meditate. It's huge, and when we do the little meditation later, we'll get into that. But our ego and our what you'll hear referred to as the negative mind, later it tries to protect us, in the confines of our old patterns. So if our old patterns are going and there goes our racy mind, right? And we try to interject something else, a lot of times we back off and we keep running away from our thoughts. We keep stepping, but we're attached to them. So is what we resist persists. So there's this kind of attachment with our thoughts, and oh my gosh, we play this dance. I bet maybe have any of you all, had that experience where you're just kind of like shadow dancing with your thoughts. It's like, oh, I'm not going to go there. But the amazing thing is, behind those racing thoughts is, this powerful opportunities to learn more about yourself, to connect with the subtler, frequency of what's going on in there, and learning how and what you need to do to make changes. So let's jump into these three parts of the mind that, to me, they're a yogic teaching that has just really helped me kind of understand the mind a little bit better. So we have a negative, positive, and neutral mind. Our negative mind is our protective mind, and it acts first. So guess what? If something's going to harm us, it's going to go whew. And even if it's going to harm us in reference to our old patterns and try to change something. So this negative, which can, be intense thoughts, if we don't honor that and recognize, oh, that's a part of my mind's natural functioning. I think it's really important, if we don't realize that those negative things that oftentimes come up first, they are a part of our mind's natural functions. So it's important just to go, oh, okay, have some compassion, learn that that's normal. And then when we're not judging it, our negative mind for those things, then we don't attach to it and it can flow. That's the essence of really learning to work with our mind, is learning to not attach to our thoughts, but observe and choose the ones that are going to be best for us in any moment. Not saying it's easy, because it's not, but it's a practice that you have to practice. So there's the negative mind, right? It's the first one to act. So know that having some initial negative, it could be a little fear, but fear, I can't wait to get into the emotional things, but the emotion of fear is just seeking information, heightening our senses first and foremost. So let's just take a breath into that negative mind and fear that can come up as a form of protection. And when we get used to it and we can love that for being there, it can bring this like calming energy into everything that we do, and appreciate. Because when we resist our negative mind, there's a part of us that goes, checks out, because we don't want it. We don't want to see the negativity or that fear, so we push it away. But wow, let's invite our negative mind in so that it can function properly and help us. But we don't want just to be stuck in the negative mind. So then the next one's the positive mind, and it is kind of like what you think it is. It's the part of us that opens up to ideas, expansion, and action oriented, like, oh wow, I can do this. Ideas. And if it's not working so good, you might see things through rose-colored glasses, or if it's overworking, then everything looks good and positive and wee. But that's not so helpful either. We need our negative mind to protect us, and we need our positive mind just to kind of open up. So that leads us to the third one, the neutral mind. The neutral mind is our intuition. It's simply the ability to step out of the polarity in this human experience. So there's a part of us, our intuition's designed to see and step out of that polarity of positive and negative and go, oh, and these are operating all the time. And oftentimes many of us shut our intuition down. So we're ping-ponging back from negative and positive mind, boom, 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 or stuck in negative, many people. So we meditate and we do practice different kind of things, get outside, eat properly. There's a lot of things that can help, our minds too, just physical vessel wise, moving, all kinds of things. So yeah, let's open up that negative or the neutral mind so that we can then have a neutral perspective on the polarities of life. That is the key. The key to everything that I've learned on my journey is honoring all aspects of ourself. Man, do we need them now. Like, there's enough going on in the world that's pushing, this segment, this division. Well, that's the reflective of the division but in ourself. So you and me and all of us, if we can work on embracing positive, negative by getting to neutral within ourselves, then our minds are going to be awesome. You're going to embrace your mind. Another thing that's important on this subject is learning to question your thoughts, because if we believe every thought that comes in, we're going to be in trouble. Because we all, like so many of us, have a lot of patterns from growing up or belief system, society. It's just the way it is. One of my favorite people that has helped me over the years is Byron Katie. If you've never read her 4 questions, um, called The Work, it's really awesome. It's a tool set to question your thoughts. It's literally when a thought comes up that's really strong and intense and over again, it's like, is that true? You know? And sometimes your mind may want to go, yeah, it's true. Um, but if you start to question, is it really true? Do you absolutely positively know that that thought is 100% true? Like, do you know this person that you think has done something bad to you? Do you know that without a doubt that they did it, and that they did it to on purpose, like to hurt you? Um and it's all about you. You know, when you start asking those questions, your mind can go, oh, it can help you just, oh, I can let go. No, maybe not. Maybe I don't know 100% where I've attached, and, the mind creates this rigidity um, around this topic because it thinks this is what happened. And then how do you react when you believe those thoughts? Like really like creating that awareness. And who would you be without that thought? Sometimes just questioning your thoughts like that can be really helpful. I went kind of through those 4 questions really fast, but go to The Work. Just look up Byron Katie. She's amazing. And there's a lot of videos out there if it's something that you're like, oh, I want to learn more about that. But question your thoughts, because, oh my gosh, we kind of magnetize thoughts to us. I think there's a lot of ways that I've learned, and if you really study some of these tools and yoga and meditation deep, you can kind of have your own experience. Your body, things going on. There's your mind's generating thoughts. It's generating thoughts from around you, from other people, from the super conscious. All these waves of thoughts are potentially going through you, but the ones that stick are the ones that we have some resistance with. So it's a big opportunity for healing in that particular area. And I'll tell you one of mine that is something that I have to work on, because I grew up in a family that everyone always worked hard. You got to keep it going. Boom, 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 boom. And this is a society one too, but you take no time for yourself. You do everything for everybody else. So even to this day, it was so ingrained that I have to question that. It's not near as intense as it was a year ago or even a month ago, but I keep working on it. I keep questioning it because my mind will spin it into maybe another area that I hadn't experienced with it yet. And that's what's interesting. So, because I haven't quite got to the core of it, but it's powerful work. I invite you to just open up a little bit more to questioning your thoughts, and finding a practice maybe that can support you in creating that neutrality with your thoughts and the positive and negative polarities of your mind. So let's do some little meditation that will help today, whether you're watching. This is a meditation to help let go of old emotions, thoughts, sticky stuff. We'll do it for about 5 minutes. You can do this for much longer if you like. But 3 to 5 minutes is kind of like a minimum where you'll get a significant effect from it. So just sitting comfortable. We're going to use a mudra. It's kind of weird. I'm going to hold my hand up. It's like bringing all the fingertips together like a little teepee. And you'll put a little bit of pressure on there. You won't put hard, but just a little bit of pressure so you can feel each of the fingertips. In these meditations from Kundalini Yoga, wherever the hands are means something pretty significant. So we're going to just hold this in front of the heart. The thumbs will kind of point back toward the heart. So our hands, our fingertips coming together are neutralizing the hemispheres of the brain and different parts of the brain. There's little electrical, signals. It's pretty cool. these mudra technologies. Yeah, just put a little pressure. So we'll do that. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to also do what's called a drishti, or an eye position. If you've not ever done this before, um, where I'm sure when you were a kid, you've tried it. If you haven't tried it, we're going to bring our eyes looking to the tip of the nose. If you're new to this, you may not be able to hold it the whole 5 minutes, or we may do 3, we'll see. But just try it. And if that's too difficult, just imagine finding a little place straight out from your nose. Maybe it's on the floor if you're sitting on the floor, or on something right in front of you. And that will help. So this crosses the optic nerve and really amplifies our ability to open our intuition. The pineal and pituitary glands and all of that stuff. There's a lot of science and tech behind it, which is fun. I think it's fun. All right, so let's get going. We're going to do a breath. We're going to inhale to the count of 5. We're going to hold for 5, and we're going to exhale for 5. You can follow me. I'm going to count for several cycles, and if 5's too much, obviously you can just tone it back to what's right for you. If let's stick with 5. You don't have to do any more than that, but if it's too much, just bring it down. But let's make sure that they're all the same amount of time. All right, so here we go. Let's bring those eyes to the tip of the nose. So when we inhale, that's symbolic of us literally, like, our positive mind, right? We're opening up, expanding. Then when we hold the breath, we're holding on. It could be, a negative mind thing that holds on to something, or it could be a positive thing too. But just imagine that holding the breath in is like holding on. So, and then when we exhale, it's like letting go. So you're going to notice as we start this practice, if any thoughts come up, and notice in your body if one of those 3 areas might be a little bit more difficult than the other. You can count to yourself after I finish, or just listen to your breath and match up. So here we go. Let's take a deep inhale to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And continue at your own pace for just a couple minutes here. Making sure to get a full from belly to chest breath on each in and out part. Just really fill the lungs and empty them. Breathing through that nose. Just keep it steady, bringing the eyes back to the tip of the nose the best you can. Just noticing any thoughts that are feelings or anything that's coming into your awareness while you're keeping this breath cycle going. Just keep it going. This helps to activate your intuition so that you can see and let go of these patterns. Noticing if you're holding in any way, and even inviting on the breath to let go and open up to new. Got about one more minute. This last cycle, I invite you to ask if there's a particular repetitive thought, if there's something, some need that you're not taking care of with yourself, whether it's a basic need or a soul need or something where you're maybe not receiving help that you need in some way or asking for it, as to why this thought keeps repeating over and over again. Maybe it's just allowing. Stay in the breath pattern. And on your next exhale, just take another deep inhale. You can close and relax the eyes. And exhale, relax the mudra. And just take a moment and just keep that inward space and notice, take in any awareness or experience that you may have had in those couple minutes. It's a great meditation to do 10 or 11 minutes. Get a little even deeper into it and watch how it has the potential to really balance your mind. Using the breath and the mudra are wonderful. So if you're just tuned in, I see there's someone on Facebook or YouTube. We just finished a little meditation. I'd invite you to kind of check back in with it. A meditation to help you just balance the mind, release old patterns, and gain some awareness as to potentially why those patterns are there. It's a really good one. So it was wonderful to be with you all today. Whenever you're listening, know this experience, by activating your intuition, it's going to give you the perspective to deal with your mind, so you're not stuck in the positive and negative polarities. It's really powerful. So little things can go a long way. You know, of course, some of us really need to move our bodies and do all of these things, but even a little breath like this, meditation, do it for 5-10 minutes, can make a big difference in your day. I look forward to sharing a lot more little tips, because you never know which one might just be super what you need, and you can make a little practice out of it. If you ever see something I share on here and you'd like more information, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would be happy to share a practice with you that may be beneficial We all need more time with ourselves, or some kind of little daily thing. I don't know who doesn't in this world with so much change. Finding the new way of being. So much love to you all. If you have any questions, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, send me an email, or go to my website, michaellott.com. That's Lot with 2 T's. And we will see you next week. Next week's going to be a little wild card. I'll announce it when we get there. But have a great one. Lots of love to you. Bye.